drone, and the suspect isn't rolling up their window right now.
Yeah. One wonders if they're able to communicate. I'd really, that's something I want to find out once we get to the end of this, and after this is all over in our future reporting on this incident, whether this is a way that they can actually communicate with the person through a drone. I don't know.
I know, you know, law enforcement always, they have to debrief after any sort of situation. And this is one of those things that I'm not sure how many times they've used these drones, but they are using it so accurately that their drone operator certainly knows what they're doing. And it's fascinating to see what's working and what's not working in their opinion with using this drone. Because to me and you, we're seeing it as a very helpful tool for law enforcement and for their canine to not have to jump right through that window. I mean, keep that dog safe as well.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion over the years as different police departments have brought drones online, including the LAPD and the Sheriff's Department. Civil liberties questions as to whether they were going to use it to spy on people, to use it for kind of mass gathering of information. Departments saying, no, we want to use it really in tactical situations like this, where it's not about information gathering for future prosecution. It's more about just keeping everybody safe, including the suspect. To just make sure that things are in a position where once humans come into the situation and get close, they know what they're dealing with. So that has been kind of the argument and the counter argument about the use of drones in law enforcement. This one clearly operated by either, we know of two agencies that are involved, the San Bernardino PD and the California Highway Patrol. And so far, though, no, you know, the suspect hasn't moved.
No. I am curious if they will release this video, because I think it's just so interesting to see this new tool that they're using. At least, did the suspect roll up his window?
Yep.
I think they did.
Looks like it. Now he's rolled it back down. Some kind of erratic, you know, behavior's inconsistent, let's just say.
Just doesn't want to get out.
Right.
Really just wants to stay in that car and not get out. But when you, that would just scare me to look in my rear view mirror and see all of those police vehicles with their lights. And, you know, I think most of the time that law enforcement, they have their weapons drawn. So it's also very intimidating. But I can also understand why the suspect probably is a little apprehensive to get out of the car, because when you see that show of law enforcement, it is obviously very intimidating. But they have to figure out what they're going to do. They do have a watch commander. They do have somebody talking to them, telling them, you know, how to best handle this. And it's always interesting when you see, you know, San Bernardino police working with the California Highway Patrol. Obviously, they have two canines there. Now you're seeing another canine come out. But, you know, a lot of time you bring these canines just to show them, which is obviously just a tool in itself.
Right there at eye level with the suspect. So they've got eyes on him from angles that ordinarily a human would not be able to get. No. So they've got that side angle there. They can look directly at him and look at him very closely.
Both hands, though,
yeah,
keep coming out there. So obviously this person is giving up. And I mean, they're not messing around in San Bernardino. They brought that sort of specialized, I don't know if that's one of those Bearcats or, you know, what kind of armored vehicle it is, but they brought that out very quickly. This
is on North Waterman Avenue and East 2nd Street. Just to recap what we're dealing with here. The person behind the wheel of this vehicle is believed to have brandished a weapon somewhere in San Bernardino, and then did not pull over when required to by San Bernardino police. They gave chase with the assistance of a helicopter from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department and with the assistance also of the California Highway Patrol. The pursuit was on freeways. We don't know which freeways yet, but it was on the freeway and then got off into this area, kind of circled through this area a few times and ended up here where we believe the suspect may have run out of gas, and now looks like another positive development.
Yeah, looks like they're getting out pretty slowly. Obviously, they don't want to, both hands are up. They are surrendering. But we'll see how law enforcement are going to handle this, because, of course, they're obviously giving this person some commands, which always is interesting to watch.
Sometimes it's hard to hear those commands. We've got our helicopter up above. There's at least one law enforcement helicopter up above. Safe to say there's probably a couple of other news helicopters up above this. They make a lot of noise. The drones right there are just a few feet away. That makes noise. It's hard to hear, but luckily it looks like he's hearing enough, and he's able to respond to their commands, and has finally gotten out and is in a position where they're going to be able to make an arrest here pretty quickly. You've got the canine unit is down there. We will see whether that ends up being deployed against this man, who is surrendering peacefully at this point. He's not being combative. He is listening to their commands so far. I'm sure they're telling him at this point to lay down on the ground. Looks like he's getting ready to do that with his hands outstretched as they are commanding him. This is typical of a felony stop. We've seen this literally hundreds of times over the years.
Yep.
And this is all a very good sign. They're all going to rush in at some point, and with some...
It's still very dangerous, though.
Yeah.
You know, you see this person down, and you see all these law enforcement officials there still trying to assess the best way to apprehend the suspect, because you still, if you hear that there's a possibility that this person is armed, that just takes this up to a whole another level for them.
That's why you see some officers there with guns drawn, some pointing at the suspect, others pointing at the vehicle. Other officers will move in to make the arrest. So they're going to have him covered. They also have the canine. The drone is there as well to give them real-time intelligence about what to expect once they get to him. But and as the drone backs away, we will see. There they go.
Yeah.
And just like that, he's under arrest. They're clearing the car. A lot of stuff in the back of that car. I don't know if there are any people back there. But the drone probably let them know what to expect when they got to the car. So,
oh, right, of course, which is so interesting to see. And again, it'll be very interesting to hear how San Bernardino Police and the California Highway Patrol maybe they work with the media a lot. It would be interesting to see, since this was a very peaceful resolution to a pursuit, to see how they use that drone, see some of the video that they used, and that helps them to figure out that they were safe enough to go in. You know, sometimes we see them have to use a shield, and so it looks like in a moment they're going to be doing the all clear.
Looks like it's pretty much, just judging by their body language, nobody's held up the code for four fingers as a signal to the helicopter that we're all done here, but they're pretty close. You can tell by their body language this thing is done. The suspect is under arrest. Clearly no one else in the vehicle. And so that means this thing is pretty much over. This ended Waterman Avenue and East 2nd Street. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Okay, so
there you go.
Yeah, so it looks like it's over, and I think at this point we can move on. The suspect is under arrest. No dogs were deployed. Nobody was hurt. Charges will be filed of at least evading, and we'll get to the bottom of that brandishing issue. But that is it there in San Bernardino.